All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 61, part 1. That's Nick Fodera. I'm Nick Morgasen. Oh, yeah, this is the Nick and Nick show for part 1.
Well, let's explain. Context is necessary because there's so many stories this week. There's so much to talk about, and we wanted to keep the episode length to a manageable, digestible. We decided to split up. So okay. Nick and I are going to be discussing some baseball topics, and Tom and Nick are going to be discussing football stuff. So
tomorrow.
that'll be in part 2. That's going to drop tomorrow. So as of right now, it's going to be the two of us. We're going to be. Let's saddle up and get to it.
All right. So number 1. Here's topic number 1. Justin Turner. And by the way, before we get into this, we did a stream. Tom and I did a stream right after World Series Game 6. By the way, Dodgers World Series winners for the first time since 1988, 32 years, have won a World Series. And we see all the celebrating, everything's going on. Then we find out after the game that Justin Turner was pulled in the 7th inning due to a positive COVID test. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you're regurgitating a topic, but Nick was not here when this whole situation happened. So go ahead, have at it.
I was not. I was. Well, here's the thing. This is. I don't feel that Justin Turner is blameless in this. But I don't think it's all his fault. In fact, I understand the compulsion to want to go out there and celebrate with your teammates because you just won the World Series, and it's something that every single kid playing baseball dreams about when they're playing Little League. So I understand that. I do. But honestly, I think the lion's share of the blame does lie with MLB because, again, we've learned over the past couple of days that it was the first test was he was given 2 tests. So the first test was negative, second test which didn't get back into the Dodgers' hands until the 2nd inning, I think, right?
Well, actually, there was a test that was inconclusive. That's I think the second test you're talking about that he took before the game, inconclusive. All right, well, let's let him play. That was the first mistake by Major League Baseball.
The other thing is, why is it that your testing protocol is so slow? You haven't had a positive test in 2 months before this. So everything was going very well. But again, the testing protocol had holes in it. And you cannot. He should not have even stepped on the field. You should have done rapid testing. Honestly, if the NBA can develop rapid testing technology that can take, I think, less than a day to get results back, some kind of saliva-based test that they put up the money to actually develop, why can't the MLB do that? You are a multi-billion-dollar corporation. There is no reason at all that he should have stepped on that field. Cruel, yes, but again, it's kind of even more torturous if he's going out there and they make him come out of the game.
But why is it cruel? Why is it cruel? Because if the one test is inconclusive, and actually, to go back to a Ken Rosenthal report after the game, it actually was revealed that both tests that he took were positive. That inconclusive test ended up being positive. So he had 2 positive tests before the game and should never have entered the field of play to begin with.
He should not have been there at all. You should have gotten those results to him. Absolutely. You should have gotten that to him immediately.
I don't understand this.
I was just about to swear and I stopped myself.
It's okay, but whatever. So basically, we have these issues with Major League Baseball. Is Rob Manfred to blame? Do you think Rob Manfred is to blame here?
Absolutely. He is. He has installed himself as the grand czar of MLB, and the buck stops with him. It always has, and the commissioner takes the blame because he is the one. He's the one sitting on the throne. Of course, with the way he's run things, he's probably sitting on a toilet. But
well, we did a poll on a couple of days ago. Should Dodgers third baseman Justin Turner be suspended by Major League Baseball for playing in Game 6 of the World Series with a positive COVID-19 test before the game? 75% said yes, 25% said no. So
he is. I don't think he's gonna. He's probably gonna be suspended because they do need a scapegoat. And well, he already kind of looks like a goat with the red beard. So honestly, I think it's easy because they need somebody to blame, and God forbid they actually blame the lax testing protocols and Rob Manfred and the slapdash way you put this season together in terms of how you're going to keep your players safe. Because look, let's get one thing straight here. This was never about the players' safety. This was never about their health. This was about how can we salvage this season so we can at least get some money back?
It's all about business.
We're going to the offseason crying poverty because of this?
Well, and Tom and I will talk about this on the Sunday episode, how the NBA is going through a whole situation now that apparently the two sides can't agree to a starting time, but we'll get to that. That all has to do with money. But I did a personal poll on my Twitter account. The Dodgers win their first World Series in 32 years over the Rays, 4-2. After Game 6, we found out Justin Turner tested positive for COVID-19, was pulled from the game. Should MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred be fired for mishandling the situation? What do you think the poll results were? I got a lot of votes on this, actually.
I'm going to say resoundingly yes, that he should be blamed.
So, believe it or not, got 20 votes on this poll, which is a lot for us.
Yeah.
And so 85% yes, 15% no. And I'm telling you right now, tweet at me, barrage me with tomatoes. I don't care. Rob Manfred should be fired. I don't care. I'm saying that now. If people want to quote me and use me as a video, I don't care. This man should be fired now.
Again, he doesn't work. He's not completely autonomous here. He works at the behest of the owners, and everything he does is A-okay with them because he's still in his job. It was the same thing with Bud Selig. They would not have had him in that position if they didn't think what he was doing was A-okay.
And that's what I don't understand, because if they think it's okay, then why didn't they just let everybody else play who had COVID?
I mean, well, considering it took out what, like 50% of the starters for the Marlins earlier in the season, and they did not care.
Well, you're talking about the Braves?
Yeah.
The Braves also, the Nationals, they had a few. We're talking about a virus that is serious. We're talking about a virus that people think that they're invincible to. This is not an invincible virus. It'll take the rich, it'll take the poor, it'll take the popular, it'll take the homeless. They don't care.
It is dispassionate. It does not care. It is non-judgmental. And the fact that Justin Turner, was running out onto the field, hugging everybody, kissing his wife, without a mask on, and
I'll give you one more.
Positive.
I'll give you one more. Dave Roberts, who he was sitting next to in the team photo, cancer survivor.
Again, the fact that he's doing that, again, I understand I understand the sentiment, but if you know you're positive, why are you doing that?
And I'll give you one more. Basically, being out on the field. Did you know that the MLB head honchos, the suits under MLB security for Rob Manfred, he sent them out there and said, get Justin Turner back into isolation, and he refused, and the Dodgers refused?
The Dodgers refused. I didn't hear that. The
Dodgers refused, and Turner refused, saying it's my celebration with the team. I don't care. Like, what are you doing?
Again, this is a failure of testing protocol that he should not have been in that game in the first place. But the fact that none of his other teammates or anybody else on the Rays or the coaching staff of both teams, the fact that they're not infected, or they've had some testing done, and apparently no other players or staff members tested positive on either side. The fact that happened is nothing short of a miracle.
It's unbelievable, because the protocols, when they agreed to the 60-game season, we were on the air when we talked about when the MLB and the MLBPA agreed to a 60-game season in negotiation. And part of it was COVID-19 protocols, to the point where they said, if you test positive, you have to sit out until you get two. I think it was two negative tests.
Two negatives back to back.
Right. So if he had two positives, that means that zero. That should have meant zero. Bye. See ya. Go back to the hotel.
You need to be there. But I get a feeling if there are more positive cases to arise in the coming days.
There were. I think a Tampa player or someone tested positive after, because the teams had to stay in Texas at least for a day or two while they were doing all the testing.
Yeah, but can you really say that it was directly because of Justin Turner, or
he was in the dugout and he was on the field?
We do need to mention, it is worth mentioning that Justin Turner was asymptomatic. So,
right, but as you would say, that doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, again, it doesn't matter because you can spread the virus even more easily, according to NIH, when you're asymptomatic, because you don't know you're sick, so you're not avoiding people.
And Fox cameras caught him in the dugout walking around during the game where they said he was positive.
And the announcers, even knowing it, I think they knew at that point that he had tested positive.
Right. I'll ask you this question that I asked to Tom when we did this after the game. How long do you think Fox knew, even though they released it after Game 6 that he was pulled due to COVID? How long do you think Fox knew?
They probably knew when the Dodgers knew.
So you're saying they knew in the second inning?
They probably knew. If not when the Dodgers knew, shortly after that.
So then everybody's playing wrong in this whole situation.
Again, well, there's nothing that Fox can do about it, but if they know it.
But if Fox knew, well, first of all, and actually a protocol that they broke, as soon as that was positive, the game should have stopped.
Weren't they tossing that around as a possibility?
No, I didn't see that anywhere, and I was following Twitter through the whole game.
Again, they didn't want to do that because...
Yeah, but F the money. I'm sorry.
I understand that, but again, greed supersedes the player's health.
And this is why Rob Manfred is the most garbage commissioner in all of sports. And
that is a high bar to clear.
And that's high bar considering you have Commissioner Goodell in the NFL. But
exactly. But honestly, if there are more positive tests of, big name players, somebody like Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts, or
it would have come out. It would have come out.
I don't think we'd find out because the season's over.
Well, I'll ask you one more, and then we got to move on here.
Isn't it a HIPAA violation if the fact that we found out?
No, because obviously someone had to squeal the Fox if they found the news.
Somebody had to squeal. So somebody did something wrong.
Well, I'll give you one example, and Tom and I will talk about this in part 2. When Trevor Lawrence of Clemson was positive, he gave them permission to say that he was positive. So he must have given permission if they squealed the Fox. So, but one thing I'll say, and then we got to move on. If Tampa had won Game 6, this is the proverbial conspiracy theory. If they won Game 6, do you think that news would have come out?
No, because I think they wanted to get it done before Halloween, and you would not have been able to. You would have had to delay the game for at least, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days. Well,
they said it would have taken at least 2-3 days to space out if they found out about the positive. But you have an ethics problem.
They would not want to do that because
you have an ethics problem though now, because you're keeping a test from everybody, and they could be infected by the virus as this is going on. I mean, come on.
That's downright dangerous. It's not just
exactly. All right. Moving on to, speaking of dangerous, our mayor of New York. And finally, the Mets sale is official. Well, we kind of knew it was official. We just had to wait for...
it was just officially official. We just needed them to wait to cross the T's, dot the I's, and the lowercase J's.
And wait for Big Bird de Blasio to wake up and finally, because apparently he's the guy that has to approve it, not Commissioner Rob Manfred, who, again, another strike on Rob Manfred for not stepping up and saying, F you, de Blasio, this is my territory, not yours.
So if you're not a New York resident, you're watching this show, and if you're not a Mets fan, let's see if we can't construct a little timeline for you, just quickly. So Steve Cohen buys the Mets from the Wilpons. He gets approval, and every Mets fan from here to Astoria is basically dropping down and thanking God.
By the way, I'll let you finish that. Even as Yankee fans, I feel good for the Mets fans because they got out from under the Wilpons ownership.
So they can actually spend money and act like the big boy team they should be acting like.
But do you agree with me in that regard?
Yes, okay. But what had happened, it was approved by, I think, 29 of the 30 teams, or 28?
Yeah, the one owner was Reinsdorf.
Yeah, Jerry Reinsdorf of the White, which I don't know why.
We'll get to the White Sox in a little bit.
We'll get to that in a bit. But Rob Manfred, actually, I should say, Bill de Blasio, his office, the office of the mayor, was investigating the sale of of the Mets to Steve Cohen because I think Steve Cohen is a convicted felon.
Well, and in technicality, his hedge fund
was convicted of securities fraud.
Right, but he's the head monkey, so basically, yeah.
He's the HAIC, so head you know what in charge.
Yeah.
So for a couple of days, it was circulating that Bill de Blasio might actually kill the sale to the Mets, which really, would have.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Been the proverbial turd in the punch bowl here.
Right. So, and Tom and I got frustrated over this for sure.
I got frustrated. I really did think that it was going to go through at the end of the day because money talks and BS rides the bus.
Right.
Because, again, there's too much money at stake here. And I think de Blasio gets a cut of that because from taxes, doesn't he?
He might. I mean, first of all, and I don't want to talk politics, but the one joke I'll make is there's $1 billion missing in New York due to him, but we're not going to go there at this point. But basically, what I'll say is that Bill de Blasio thought that he was a king and not a mayor, and thought that he had power over this whole situation of whether he can decide who owns the Mets. Hey, Bill, wake up. You're going to be gone next November, so no one cares what you think. And
I think he realized that, again, this is he woke up, or either him or his PR flackies were going, yeah, we're taking a bath in terms of public opinion. You might want to make sure this one goes through there, Bill. And he comes out later in the day with a tweet saying, my office investigated and everything's on the up and up. Let's go Mets. He actually put that on the tweet itself,
which is so funny.
Great save there, man.
That's like certain people in the past who say they root for another organization just so that they can get more votes from outside of the state. But I'm not going to say who that is because that might get me in trouble. But basically, I don't know what to say. So I saw that he approved the deal. I was working at the radio station and we were pulling this audio, and I'm listening to this audio, and he's like, well, we did our due diligences and we saw the legal jurisdiction, so I'm going to allow the sale to go through. You're going to allow the sale to go through. Who died and put you in charge?
Well, technically he is the mayor, and it's happening in his city, and technically they have to get all the permits. And I understand, land management and, ownership is basically it's a labyrinthian nightmare over the last 30 years. But still, I mean, again, I did not think that this was not going to go through. This was going to happen. And we're going to be tracking what Steve Cohen does now that he is the owner of the Mets. Officially, it's officially official.
Yes.
Throughout the offseason. So
he's going to spend
very closely.
He's definitely going to spend, which I'm happy for the Mets because they can now go approach a free agent and say, oh, look, I have heavy pockets. I'm willing to spend. Actually, a piece of news came out in free agency already. Not a signing. I'm not breaking any news in that regard. But JT Realmuto said he might not want to play on any New York teams.
He was quoted as saying that?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. And
congratulations, you're now John Rocca.
So, well, you know what? Some people just don't like playing in New York. But
people don't like it. I mean, Randy Johnson, God knows he didn't like it.
Hey, he punched a cameraman coming into New York. If everyone remembers that
Oh
story.
God, you had to remind me.
But Greg Maddux, I don't know if you heard that story from years past. The Yankees went after him, and he just said, "I don't really want to play in New York." So it all depends on.
Well, Atlanta was really where he.
Hey, that was murderer's row of pitching. That was murderer's row,
and yet they only won one championship out of it. So
well, hey, one is better than none. As
one is better than none. Otherwise, you could be the Marlins. Oh, Mariners.
Wow. But I don't know. How do we finish this situation off with Steve Cohen and Bill de Blasio? I mean, if de Blasio somehow literally declined this and got in the way, you realize that
you would have seen a proverbial you-know-what storm.
You can say it. It's okay. Just say it.
It would have been a proverbial shitstorm, guys.
Thank you. Yes,
it really would have. And there's no tap dancing around that. But again, like I said, money talks, and this was going to happen.
All right, moving on to proverbial shitstorms. All right, we had two managerial hires. So we had Tony La Russa hired by the White Sox, who managed, I think, he was with the White Sox in 1986, was when the last time he managed with the White Sox, and now we're turning around like 30 plus years later, and now he's the manager of the White Sox. And what's ironic, he was the youngest manager in baseball at that point. Now he's like the
oldest manager in baseball.
The second oldest manager now.
So I'm surprised that the White Sox made this move because, again, I'm surprised they fired Rick Renteria because I thought with the pieces that he had, he made the White Sox look very, very, very respectable. Of course, a lot of that had to do with Luis Robert and Lucas Giolito and Yohan Moncada, and
they've got a really good young organization.
They've got a really good young core, and they're going to be competitive.
Jose Abreu.
Jose Abreu. You're going to be very competitive for a long time, hopefully.
But the question is La Russa, who has
Tony La Russa really the guy, the man who looks like he felt happiness once and hated it?
I was going to say, though, do you believe, because the White Sox are the bat flippers. They like to bat flip.
Yeah, they are the fun-loving guys, and that's great to watch. That's great for baseball, actually. I love it.
Right, but La Russa, on the other hand?
I'm not like the old fuddy-duddies who work at the Post talking about, when is respectability going to come back to baseball?
Right, but
about 5 minutes after you guys leave.
But La Russa has come out in public before, many years in the past, and said, I'm an old-fashioned guy. I don't like bat flipping. I don't like all of this.
They think that he's going to be their – Reinsdorf thinks he's going to be their Tom Coughlin.
Oh, God.
Again, you got 2 Super Bowls out of that, but he thinks he's going to be the whip cracker, the disciplinarian. He's going to be the one to get this talented core. He's going to whip them into ship shape. And
this is going to be ugly.
I mean, if this was 2006, I could say, yeah, you're definitely.
Or 2000.
Yeah.
But I just, and by the way, I don't know if you saw the tweet I put out on our account at ETB Sports. Did you see the email that went around that had Tony La Russa's picture with AJ Hinch's signature on the email?
It did?
When you have a chance, everybody who's watching and watches this afterwards, go to our account at ETB Sports. I posted it on Facebook and Twitter on our account. It's you know how PR sends out emails to let people know that this is our new manager? It's literally a picture of Tony La Russa, and it has his name, but under it, it's the signature, like a electronic signature of AJ Hinch, because they obviously thought they were going to hire AJ Hinch.
They obviously were gunning for AJ Hinch, but they.
But is that unbelievable?
Like when you forget the kid's birthday, so you just cross out somebody else's name on the birthday card.
No, but you should know this, being a journalist and understanding PR. Tell me how BS like this could happen.
Somebody definitely got fired for that.
But
somebody again, this seems to me like this was an 11th hour thing, and it seems to me like they didn't have time, or somebody forgot. They had to put everything together and get it out at a certain time, and I guess that one slipped through the cracks. But somebody definitely got fired for that.
Let me make one other comment. According to insiders inside the organization, they were not for this hire. You know who was for this hire? Do you?
No.
It was Reinsdorf, the owner.
Well, of course.
But I don't
again, because he thinks that this is going to be their Tom Coughlin. But come on.
No, but I think this is Reinsdorf saying, "Oh, I wish I held on to him many years ago. Now I got him back." It's a little late for that, don't you think?
He's going to be the tough guy, the hard ass, the coach, the stern disciplinarian, the pouty face. So
you mean?
Get ready for that.
Wait a minute. You mean like Bobby Cox and
Jim Lou and
Billy Martin?
Billy Martin, although Billy had his charms.
Lou Piniella.
Lou Piniella could be kind of loose.
Hard ass. But if you crossed him, you got crossed right back.
Yeah.
So, but Reinsdorf was basically the guy on the inside. Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the White Sox and the Bulls, has come out and basically said, "Oh, yeah, well." I don't know.
I got Tony La Russa. Anybody?
Yeah, I've got nothing. But speaking of nothing, the Tigers made their hire, and apparently when they asked people in the organization if they wanted their hire, they asked for 1 bang yes and 2 bangs for no.
And 3 bangs for this is really stupid. So this is a bad idea. Well,
okay, so if you want to know what we're talking about that AJ Hinch, who was the former Astros manager,
one of the people implicated in the Astros sign stealing scandal, which is, of course, involved the use of the illegal use of the video room, plus judicious use of baseball bat to trash can in order to steal pitching sequences. So he gets fired in the offseason, and he serves a suspension.
Well, no. It's not. Well, yeah. Is that what you were going to say? He served a 1-year suspension.
Yeah,
okay,
suspension. And I had a feeling, as much as I would have hoped that both he and
Alex Cora,
and who's the GM? Who was the GM?
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but yeah, I'll look it up. But keep going.
Yeah, but as much as I would have hoped that this would be the end for them in baseball, I mean, that wasn't going to happen. Because although A.J. Hinch's pedigree is pretty much...
Jeff Luhnow.
Jeff Luhnow. But, thank you. But A.J. Hinch has a pedigree, although how much of that pedigree is inflated?
How much of it is real?
Again, like I said, because he cheated. He won the World Series because he cheated. The one World Series he did win.
Alex Cora also. You realize that the Red Sox want Alex Cora back, but they've actually been interviewing a few people, including somebody in the Yankee organization. I can't remember who the name is, but the Red Sox actually wanted him back after he served the suspension, for crying out loud.
They did, which I that's really, again, another failure on Manfred's part. But actually adequately, discipline any of the people involved.
Hey, you know what? This might be a punishment because now AJ has to figure out how to get a failing Detroit Tigers organization, plus Miguel Cabrera, who seems to have a contract until he's 43 years old, to win.
Which I don't even know where you begin with that. But apparently Tigers fans are happy, so you know what? If they're happy, that's all right.
Well, now that we see AJ Hinch has gotten a job, do you think that Jeff Luhnow gets a GM job? It was reported that he did an interview with the Angels.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a team stupid enough to actually think that he can do the job. But it's going to be like Steve Phillips. I mean, you hire him, you thinking he's going to be the wonder boy, and then he resigns in disgrace.
And what's ironic, and you know what, I'll put this one up here. Final thoughts. Basically, that Luhnow came out afterwards, and you and I went through this, actually, the whole interview that he gave. And, well, I didn't do anything. The text messages.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me, the Shaggy defense.
And it was like all political, like he was running for office, like the way he was answering everything.
He was very equivocal, and he was very evasive. He was kind of dodging the questions.
He's like,
again, he was basically doing a Clinton.
Well, I didn't have sex with that woman.
I did not look at those replay reviews. If you are under 25, you have no idea what we're talking about. But yeah.
But the way I would say it as, I don't think AJ Hinch can do anything without cheating, and I hate to. People deserve second chances.
Well, now we're going to find out. Now we are going to find out. We are giving him a second chance. Let's see if he sinks or he swims.
All right. Final thoughts here on each story. So, Justin Turner and the Dodgers. What's the official outcome? You think?
MLB's fault.
Right, but what do you think happens punishment-wise? Do you think there is?
He'll probably be suspended for about 10 games.
Wow, so you think it's going to be short? Okay.
Depending on where we are with what they do with the next season, whether we're going to start late or whether they're going to be full capacity or we're going to do the no fans again. Again, it's all up in the air, but I do think he will serve a suspension because they do need a scapegoat.
I agree. He's going to serve some kind of suspension, whether it's 10 games or depends how many games they play next season, because I'm still not convinced they're going to play a full season next season. But some people were reporting that he should lose his World Series share. Now, I don't know. I don't think that happens.
So you can't do that.
But all right, final thoughts on Steve Cohen and Bill de Blasio.
Well, good thing that went through, because if it didn't, you would have heard some stuff, boys.
Yeah, I agree. If de Blasio would have had to run for the hills even before his term was up at this point. And final thoughts on the managerial hires. Wrong ones, right?
Tony La Russa, retread, AJ Hinch, fraud.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think La Russa's too old, and I think the White Sox would have benefited from a younger manager, actually. I think that would have been a good thing. And the Tigers are such a mess of an organization that it probably didn't matter who you put in there. You were starting from the bottom anyway. So I think that's pretty much how it goes at this point. But we are going to leave you here. This was episode number 61, part 1 of Empty the Bench, coming up Sunday at noon Eastern. Tom Amato and myself, we will take you through the rest of this episode. We're going to take you right up to kickoff for the NFL Sunday. We'll cover the NBA. The NBA's having issues now. Now they don't know if they're going to start Martin Luther King Day or December 22nd. It's all up in the air. So that's pretty much
next
how
week.
it goes.
Hopefully next week we'll be back at full strength. So it'll be all three of us. So make sure you tune in for that too.
For Nick Fodera, I'm Nick Morgasen. Good afternoon, everybody.
Happy Halloween, everybody!
Happy Halloween.